I think when we leave WPI, and I was probably guilty of this, we are, we become silos. Silos in the sense, in a good sense, this isn't like I'm suggesting confession here. We go off sometimes into industry, we go off into other non-industry roles, and we're given opportunities to succeed, and many of us do, and succeed famously. And that's great as the individual. What I'm trying to inculcate here is taking that same capability and having people talk about us in the collective instead of just the individual. So, you know, I go back to the core of CAP. You know, a small group of Irish Catholic young men at Brown University, 120 years ago, got together because they were outsiders. They were somewhat ostracized in a place like Brown. They weren't invited to the usual clubs. They got together and said they wanted to do something about it, and they did something about it, and it survives today. In some respects, what you're doing here at WPI today at CAP is frankly a rebirth of that very spirit. And I think the same thing happened at Ohio State or at Lehigh with the Phi Theta Kappa guys, Theta Kappa Phis, or whatever the heck we called ourselves back then. And I think it can happen again here. I think CAP can be a catalyst. What are some things that practically we can do, and I'll start winding this thing down here, to maybe do our individual parts to be part of this sort of development of WPI Inc. and all that goes with that? I think we can do the usual things we do. We can network, we can exchange business cards, we can call each other, email each other. Those are practical things that keep us a little bit more connected. I would suggest that we need to take it another layer deeper, that when we call each other, that we ask our alumni friends, how can I help you? How are you doing? What's going on in your business world that may need, you know, you may need some advice, you may need a relationship, an introduction, whatever it is, go another layer deeper. That to me starts unlocking this sort of power of the network. You can give money to WPI, you can continue to participate in alumni events, events like this. Those things will help, but I don't think, again, this is about participating strictly in events and in assuming, for example, that the staff at WPI will take this challenge and solve it for us and we'll just all be benefactors. This is really about us starting to talk like those Notre Damers do, like the Yaleys do, like the folks that graduated from West Points and the Naval Academies, and in business, the guys that grew up and have left GE and gone on to other places, left IBM and gone on to other places. When they get together, even if they're not working for one of these companies, they usually have this sense of an identity, being part of something bigger than themselves, that I don't see us doing enough of it at WPI. I've had the personal experience in the last couple of years that has brought this closer to home for me. You know, I did my silo executive in some very big companies, very successful, but decided to go off and do something smaller with some partners. And then in the course of just making a living, I discovered that there's some young caps, for example, on the West Coast, one that graduated, one that didn't graduate, that are working on some really cool stuff. They get in touch with me through Don Peterson, who's at the time the chair of our board, and Don says, Fred, I think these guys could use some of your kind of advice and help. You know, they're in their 20s, I'm 52. So I get involved with these guys 18 months ago, and it's really cool stuff, cloud computing, cybersecurity, stuff that is white hot. But the reason I bring this little mini sort of personal story up is What's really been fun for me, what's really been cool is, we'll work 8 or 10 hours a day on trying to build that business with the work that they're doing. And then at night, or not always at night, over a beer, we'll talk about WPI. Not because we were classmates, because they're young enough to be my children, but because we all came from the same place. They're not caps, by the way. They could be. In this case, I'm suggesting it sort of doesn't matter. What does matter is that we have a common ground that is not boring to talk about. It's fun to reminisce, fun to gossip sometimes about things that we do share in common. Paul Kennedy's in the back of the room. I'm doing some stuff with Paul that is a result of basically reaching out to your fellow WPIer at a point in your career to go work on some interesting opportunities together. Somewhat random, but the more we make it non-random, in my opinion, the more we get to what I'm describing as WPI Inc. Or if you want to use a little more colorful term, maybe the WPI Mafia. And I do think that that's our competition. I think there's the Notre Dame Mafia, I think there's the Yale Mafia, I think there's the BC Mafia, and we're competing against those Mafia. We're competing against them for our prominence in the world of pride in your university. Our sons and daughters are choosing their schools to go to instead of WPI. So there's lots of reasons that we're competing. So, if you agree with me that there's an opportunity here to be part of this WPI Mafia, I'd suggest that you take whatever you want out of my little luncheon chat as your own personal call to action. I'm very encouraged by what I see at CAP. I think it is, the new CAP in particular, I think it is the prototype of what I've been looking for WPI more broadly to become, which is really plugged into each other. So in summary, tonight we'll honor what I believe to be the most famous CAP and the most a gentleman who, to me, bridges CAP and WPI in both service and in genius. I mean, Dean Grogan is done far more than just be an incredible mentor to CAPs over the years. He has set in motion through the plan and through his involvement academically, along with others. Bill wouldn't take it all on his own shoulder. He has truly started something really big, and through his vision and the practice that I think we are the byproducts of, we do have a better mousetrap here at WPI. And as that poet, non-engineer Ralph Waldo Emerson says, if you build a better mousetrap, the world will beat a path to your door. So I think it's time for WPI to take that rightful spot at the end of that path. I think it's time for those of us here at WPI and those that aren't in the room to take things to the next level and experience the pride and the positive virtues that come with being part of something this special, something that you might want to call the WPI Inc. team or Mafia. I look forward to having this generation of CAPs be the lightning rod, the catalyst to make this happen. I look forward to helping any way I can. I look forward to watching with pride, almost as if you're my children, which you're not, I don't think, to your accomplishments. And I think all of us in every generation in this room do as well. So thank you for your patience and time, and thanks for having me.